Welcome to all my stage divers and crowd surfers to another episode of the Moshpit. I'm Michelle, joined by my always rockin' co-hosts, Brianne and Kelly. And how are you doing today, ladies?
Hey.
Are you down under? Like, what's happening?
Across the pond.
I was going for British.
That was very Australian.
Came out a little Australian? Okay. Well, I hope I didn't offend any of our British listeners, or I guess Australian listeners, with my atrocious attempt at an accent. In usual Moshpit fashion, it is all in good fun. And boy, are we going to have an absolute fucking blast today. We're keeping it low-key, you know, with some music news per usual, and as many countries, including the United States, begin to slowly reopen, we're going to be pondering what the quote-unquote new normal is for concerts in the year to come, as well as a nostalgic throwback for the band Spotlight. So, before we get into it, though, we want to thank all of our listeners so far. You and you and you and you. We are here to advocate for the scene, and we're happy to see that the scene is alive and well. And we want to keep it that way. So, if you're a fan of the show, I am challenging you, and you, and you, and you, to share your favorite episode so far with your friends. I mean, did you know that Spotify has this really cool share feature? You can share an episode or write to your Instagram story or your Facebook or the tweeters. Sharing's like literally easy peasy these days. Like technology, am I right?
Tell a friend, tell a friend, tell a friend. It's all about telling your friends.
Exactly. And don't forget to tag us at the Moshpit Pod on Facebook and Instagram and at Moshpit Pod on Twitter. And for all you Generation Z fans out there, Generation Z fans out there, sorry, that sounded weird the first time I said it. So for all you guys, we just created a TikTok. I can't believe 2009 Kesha is still relevant in 2020. And that joke went over everyone under 25's head. Kelly found it really entertaining.
So funny. it's like a dad joke, but like a little more hip.
Yeah, basically. But Michelle, what is our handle on TikTok? Share with the listeners so they can follow us.
It's at the Moshpit Pod. Anyways, let's open that pit up. It is time for some music news.
Okay, so kick off music news. Speaking of new music, we have someone who's usually not in our realm of life, or in the scene, if you will, but Demi Lovato, of all people, which personally I love Demi Lovato, recently just came out with a song, like, I don't know how many couple months ago it was the original came out, but it's called I Love Me, talking about, you know, her self-image and, like, not being sure of herself and all this kind of stuff and trying to work her way through life, which is very on brand for us. So, she teamed up with Travis Barker, and there is now an I Love Me emo remix. And it is straight fire. First of all, the music video is a lyrics video, and it's MySpace themed. And for all of you millennials out there, it pulls on a whole lot of heartstrings. I mean, I know it does for me.
The nostalgia is just so real.
So real.
It's intense. But, I mean, I loved the original, but I'm not gonna lie, I definitely love the remix better, because, I mean, the lyrics are very, like, especially as a woman, and especially someone who's always had, like, self-image issues, it spoke to me a lot, but the fact that there's now an emo remix where I can bang my head as it's happening, like, it's just that much better.
Oh, for sure. I mean, you know, it's Travis Barker, so those beats are the best, because he is just a god, in my opinion. And no, I agree. I love the remix way better than the original, but that's because I'm of the opinion any song covered in a emo/pop punk fashion is just always better than the original.
Yeah, I agree. I think Brie kind of took the words right out of my mouth. I think it's like the perfect blend of like those lyrics that make you like really think, and then but it's like on top of an emo track now, and it's just so perfect.
The other best part about the music video is it starts off with like you see a laptop and then it zooms out and it's like the stereotypical like sad boy with like the swoopy hair and the really intense eyeliner and the whole thing and like the black nails clicking on the keyboard, and then it shows up to MySpace like
Stop it, you're turning me on.
Speaking of Travis Barker, he has also now produced a song with Machine Gun Kelly for the new pop punk album Tickets to My Downfall. The song title is called Bloody Valentine. It sounds like it's right off of like a Blink-182 album, like specifically the self-titled album. The way they pronounce like head and yed sounds just like Tom DeLonge. Michelle, you look like you wanted to get in there.
No, not really. But
okay.
I can. I mean, I was a big fan of the song. I hate Machine Gun Kelly personally, like as a human. I don't like him. I mean, I don't know him, but his persona do not approve of, especially the fact that he got into this whole like rap battle bullshit with Eminem. Like, you do not touch Eminem.
Here on the Moshpit, we stan Eminem.
Ha!
We're gonna stan Eminem. Haha, I know I did it on purpose. Anywho, but Machine Gun Kelly fans are also loving it, even though Michelle doesn't like Machine Gun Kelly as a person. I mean,
but I do love the song. You know, the topic of the song, like, you know, Bloody Valentine, it's obviously talking relationship stuff and everything. It was, and then when I looked at the cover art, it was like really interesting to me, because I was like, the cover just didn't like match the song to me, and you know, I don't know, like that's a cover art is kind of like almost one of the first impressions you get from a song before you listen to it, so it's like, huh, interesting.
Call back to Wobble from last episode about how you guys were confused about the flamingo and whatnot.
Yeah, exactly, 100%. I was like, flamingo, what is that? What does this mean to me? What is happening?
But on the Travis Barker vein of things, recently James Corden was talking about how to pronounce Blink-182 correctly. Apparently, in the United States, it's Blink-182, aka the correct way. In the UK, apparently it's Blink-182.
Fucking terrorists. Absolutely wrong. How dare they? That is just absolutely ridiculous. Blink-182? Like, does that sound right to you? No.
How do you scream 182? 182. Like, I feel like it'd have to be like a one more song, you know, kind of cadence.
I feel like I'm dialing a telephone number. I don't know.
Exactly.
182.
So, like, it's like choppy almost. It's like there's no flow to it. Blink-182. Now that's like, yeah.
But in a long time ago interview, Tom joked that the correct way to say it is Blink-182.
And that's why Tom's no longer in the band.
And he's finding aliens though. So I mean,
that's true. Like, the Pentagon confirmed that shit. The UFOs are real.
Like, he's not the crazy crackpot anymore. He's the government confirmed.
He's the government crazy
crackpot.
Yeah, he's a government crazy instead of just some random crazy, so it works.
But yeah, no, I mean, going back to Travis and Machine Gun Kelly, I despite my feelings for Machine Gun Kelly, I think the song was really great, and it definitely had some good vibes for, like, you know, what we're used to hearing in the scene. And as much as, like, it's so weird for me that he's coming out with a pop punk album, I'm kind of looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Travis Barker literally just has like this magic wand, and it's like, I touch this song and it becomes gold. I touch this song and it becomes gold.
Is it a magic wand or a magic drumstick?
Ooh, definitely magic
Are
drumstick.
you talking about like the Midas touch, like the golden, like anything he touches becomes
not what
golden?
I was thinking about, but that is 100% accurate. So yeah, he's got the Midas touch, just being like, bloop, great song, bloop, great song.
Travis Midas Barker.
Oh god.
And you know, more new music, because you know there's just tons and tons of new music all the time, always.
All the content.
Atlantic has released a new song, actually today on the day of recording. It'll have been out for a few days once this episode goes live. Wavelength. And it's got a different sound. It's a little less pop punky than stuff they've done before. And I think it proves Brianne's conspiracy theory that genres aren't real and really just social constructs.
I don't like to be labeled.
Yeah, music's music, whatever. But it did definitely give me kind of some Paramore vibes, though. And I really liked it. I mean, we all know we're fans of Paramore on this podcast. And, I'm really looking forward to new music from them, though they've been releasing new music, like Drink to Drown, but apparently there's no new album coming. I don't know, like their Twitter, I follow them on Twitter, it's really confusing. They have this new music, but there's no album coming out. It's chaos. I don't know. But I look forward to listening to them all the time. They're really up and coming. We've mentioned them before in episode 3, Girl Power. When we celebrated all the badass chicks in the scene, because Bonnie Fraser is a kick-ass vocalist. And, yeah, I mean, go listen to it. Wavelength and all the other singles that came out recently, because they are definitely going to be a band to watch.
I really liked this the new song Wavelength. I don't know if we're really big on cover art right now, apparently. I don't know if it's the cover art or like the newish sound, but they feel like it kind of feels like Water Parks inspired a little bit. And I don't know if it's because of like the neon colors, but like the sound is also a little bit more electronic like Water Parks is. So I don't know, it just gave me those vibes, which actually got me really excited because I like that newer sound. So I'm excited to hear more from them. In other news that I'm also really excited about, Alex DeLeon, aka Bones, posted an Instagram recently about potential new music from The Cab, which I am probably like the biggest The Cab fangirl that there is. Like, I am obsessed with them. I think they're I don't know. Alex's vocals are like, he's probably one of the best vocalists I've ever heard. I don't know. I'm obsessed.
You've got a thing for lead singers with the name Alex, apparently.
I don't know.
We all do.
It's just a good name. I know. But so he posted an Instagram directed to all fans of The Cab and said, "Today's your day." He basically was talking about how they started writing some songs as long ago as 9 years ago, and some they started to write just this year, but they are pretty much ready to release an album or music, and he says that he thinks it's the best piece of work they have created ever in his eyes, so that makes me extremely excited, but they are actually waiting until the pandemic situation improves in order to release it, which is kind of like the opposite stance that a lot of bands are taking. Obviously, we have a ton
everybody needs to stay at home, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
So we can get this new music, because
we need it so much.
We need it. Absolutely. Like Kelly said, like, The Cab is amazing. They are absolutely underrated, and the fact that more people aren't fans upsets me to my core, because Whisper War is like A++ work, and their follow-up, Symphony Soldier, just as good.
And the one after, their EP, that was their last release before they kind of broke up or went on. Oh my god. Lock Me Up?
I don't know. No, you should lock me up for not knowing this.
I should lock you up. Oh my god, it's a crime.
I only know about the second album, apparently.
I feel actually legitimately hurt right now on their behalf. You need to go listen to Lock Me Up. It's amazing.
I will do. And I'll report back.
It's so amazing.
Yeah, well, my bad. But, we talked about how Alex is a fantastic vocalist. This next band, who has a new song out, a new quarantine song out, I'm a huge fan of his vocals. Zach from Sleep on It. I don't know. They just literally like his voice like gets into my soul and just like explodes into like a bright light of happiness. That's what it is. They released a new quarantine song called "Stay at Home." It's a very tongue-in-cheek song, and I'm a big fan of like tongue-in-cheek stuff. Like that's why I like Mariana's Trench. What is it called? Pop 101. They're kind of making fun of like, you know, pop and music and like all the stuff behind it, and like a lot of patent pending stuff. Like they make fun of things, and it's just like silly pop culture references. So, you know, obviously this is kind of like everything that's going on with the pandemic and coronavirus and quarantine. It's definitely a moment in history that we're living right now, and it's like there are things that are coming out of it that like these cultural references that we're going to relate to, like, you know, people baking bread when they can't do anything else. And, you know, some of the things that they say is you know, don't go be alone outside with your stink, have a drink, overeat. They're saying stay at home, call your mom, make some bread, change your socks, cash your unemployment check, you know, play guitar, xylophone, wear a mask, wash your hands, write a song, start a band. And I mean, it's not like the most like eloquent song out there lyrically, but it's fun.
So I'm live listening to this as we've been going down because of course Brianne doesn't listen to new music very often. I will say the best part about this music video, I mean, the editing is cool where they do like the shifting of the video and whatnot, but in the second verse, it shows them, it's like the only time there's text on the screen, it says 3 p.m. and they're like playing Monopoly. And then it like shows a bunch of other shit, and then it cuts back like 30 seconds later and it's like 11 p.m. and they're still playing Monopoly. It's so fucking accurate. And then one of them just flips the board and I'm like, that's accurate. Like,
I mean, that's not even just relevant to quarantine. That's just Monopoly all the time.
Oh no, I didn't even mean it in like a quarantine way. It's more like Monopoly ends friendships.
Yeah.
I think this song was like just what I needed right now. It's like it's something fun, but it's also something that will like help us remember this time. Not like we would ever possibly forget this time, but it's something
like in a good way.
Yeah, and I like the cheesiness of it, I guess. Like I feel like there's a line like it's actually like a decent song. Like those melodies are like I listened to it once or twice today. It's already stuck in my head. Like I already have like the cadence of the like the rhythm of the verses and like the stay at home part stuck in my head, and I've listened to it like 3 times. So like it's a legitimately good song, but I really like the like cheesiness, I guess, of some of the lyrics that they use. I like it a lot.
Follow up to what I had said about the Monopoly game, it then says, the last part, it says 3 p.m. the next day, and it shows someone just flipping the entire table. Like, they go from flipping the board to being like, no, and flipping the table, which is also accurate with any kind of game. Slate and I are at that point with this, we bought a puzzle 2 days into quarantine. We still haven't finished it. Because I'm an idiot, and we took with the only puzzle we could find, which it's a cute puppy and a kitty cuddling with some yarn. The problem is that there's a lot of negative white space with no coloration whatsoever. So a third of the puzzle is just white, and you're trying to... So I understand flipping a table. I'm at that point in quarantine.
I really enjoy how you said, we're an idiot. Like, you're one person. That really got me. I don't know why.
Because it's relatable to anybody in a relationship.
We've kind of become one person.
We've just become one idiot.
I mean, and by we're an idiot, I mean I'm the idiot because I bought it, but because I was drunk and I was like, play it, let's get a cute puppy puzzle. And he's like, okay, didn't look at it, ordered it, and then showed up and he was like, why the fuck did you order this? Like, I mean, a $10 puzzle is not the worst thing I had ordered and will order during this quarantine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think everybody's impulse spending has gone up during all of this.
So bad. Really bad.
I mean, you guys know I bought a wig, so...
I bought a spin bike that's literally not going to show up until July. So useless, because by then everything's probably going to be open because I live in Florida, and they're just like, everyone go back to normal. So we'll see how this works. But anywho, moving on. Newfound Glory posted an Instagram talking about one of their songs off their new album. It's called Himalaya. According to them, it's the heaviest song off of their new album. They also talked about how they're super excited to play it live, if they ever can be live again. Talking about how there's a lot of good parts for people to sing in unison and whatnot. Which, I mean, I'm here for a crowd verse, you know what I mean? Like, that's probably one of the best parts about a show. But, personally, I got very teen angsty vibes, like, very old school, like, I felt like I was transported back to high school, like, some of the lyrics being, they don't know what's best for you, it's time to find yourself some new friends. It's just very, like, they don't know you, they suck, find new friends, So, but in a good way, that sounded bad. But yeah, I mean, I liked it. No, but it was a good song. It was very
Brianne, always with her hot takes.
I don't know, very whiny, I guess.
Well, so for me, I mean, you say it's a good song and whatever, and you said the teen angsty vibes in a good way. I personally was not a huge fan of it. I mean, the teen angsty vibes, I think, is like everything, like we've said before for all the previous singles. It's very pop punk. It's very Newfound Glory, old school. But you know, old school Newfound Glory, they were like in their early 20s. They were back then. They're on the older side now. So it's interesting to see them come out with music like this, even though I fucking love it. But this particular song, I wasn't a huge fan of. It just kind of was just like meh for me.
Yeah, I feel like this, when I was listening to it, I feel like it just made me really anxious. And I think it was because of like the way the guitar and the drums like stop short. You know, it's like going, and then it's muted like at the very last like note of a line or something. Like the guitar is like they stop the. Yeah, and I don't know. It got me intrigued at first. Like, I listened to it another couple times because I was like on the edge of my seat, like, what's going to happen? But I think in the end, it just made me really anxious, and that I don't love it anymore.
I think now, like, that we've been talking about it, like, it makes sense. It's more the fact that I liked the old school vibe of it, but I agree the music itself is a little weird and awkward. Like, the lyrics, I feel like they almost, like, I feel like Newfound Glory's, you know, they are ones to take their time with the words. It's not like they're rushing through it. Like, All Time Low, they do a lot of, like, wham, bam, really good lyrics right in your face really quickly. I just feel like this was almost like they put the song on slow-mo, and it's like, your new friends, they don't, you know what I mean? Like, it's very drawn out and over-exaggerated, so that I did feel very weird about, so I think it was more just the fact of, like, oh, they're in their 40s and they're still singing about how your friends suck. Like, cool.
In other, some more music news. Not new music yet, but Chunk, No Captain Chunk, which such an interesting band name. I've always kind of thought that band name is so interesting.
Wait.
It's so cool.
First of all, please tell me you get that reference, Kelly.
What?
You get the reference, right? Chunk, No Captain Chunk, the movie it's from.
Yes.
What movie is it from, Kelly? Because the
I don't remember.
It's not. It's from the Goonies. What is?
Yes. No, I knew that. I just hadn't. I mean, I knew it at one point. I don't know if I knew it in this current moment, but once you said it, I knew it.
So
if that
good.
Counts for anything.
Brianne, you have to remember, Kelly's also a little bit younger than us, and despite it only being a couple of years, it does make a difference in what movies, like, kind of impacted her versus impacted us. But yeah, like I said, Chunk No Captain Chunk is probably one of my all-time favorite band names.
Yeah, it's great.
It's a Goonies reference, and it's just, it could have been any Goonies reference, but it was that, and they made it, like, nice and long and not easy to say.
Right, it's like you stumble on it every time. Like, you really have to enunciate, and I love it.
And you have to, like, take the pauses in the right places, like, Chunk, no, Captain Chunk. Like, if you don't do it that way, then what's the point?
Anyway, they are working on new music for the first time since 2016. So it's been it's been a minute since they have worked on new music together, but they have revealed that they're going to be releasing new music very soon. Not sure how soon. There's no dates out there, but they, are excited to release new music, and they know that they've been silent for a while, but they wanted to kind of dispel rumors that the band broke up. But they said they never broke up, and they want to thank their fans for sticking around, but they are excited and actively working on new music, and they said it will likely be arriving this year. So that is very exciting news for us.
Yeah, I'm super excited. I love Chunk No Captain Chunk. Like, I've never been a huge fan. I only know a few songs of theirs, but
the few songs I know are
those songs.
I'm the same.
Yeah.
I've literally never listened to them before, so as terrible as it sounds, I love their name, but I need to start listening to them because I'm horrible. But at least I'll get new music when I do.
It's perfect.
Anywho. Yes. Anywho, on to more music news. So Hayley Williams, we all know, has released her new album, Petals for Armor, I believe is the name of it, which is just, it's a little strange. Anywho, but during the process of her releasing a new album, she did an interview talking about if there will be new Paramore music, in which she has responded, they are all excited and hopefully looking forward to making new music at some point in the future. There's no date, there's no nothing, but she did discuss the kind of vibe and the whatnot. I'm gonna quote this just because it's so funny how she wrote it. She was talking about how it will be a completely different vibe from After Laughter. She said, after making After Laughter, it's like, okay, we've tried this on and it actually fits and feels great. Now let's see what else we can do to fuck this up. She continues the interview on talking about how Paramore's her favorite band and how she doesn't, basically how she, they keep trying to do new stuff. And then she also talks about how she never really thought they fit in during their quote-unquote emo phase. Basically talking about how she goes to Paramore's, like, Spotify, and it's, like, the fans also listen to, and she's like, I saw them, and I, like, was like, oh, I grew up with these guys, but that's not at all what we were going for. So it's interesting to see, especially me as a diehard, like, early days Paramore fan, so it was a very interesting article to read.
Yeah, that is odd. I don't, like, as much as that's not what they were going for, that's what they ended up, and for her to not see it that way is, like, it's an interesting take for sure. Especially coming from, the person in the band.
Yeah, and it's one of those things, like, bands can evolve. Like, no one would have seen the beginning of Panic at the Disco and would have pictured Brendan Urie now being what it is today. Like, bands evolve, that's fine. But her just being like, we never really fit in there. It's like, no, you did back then. Maybe you didn't feel that way, but, like, the music fit in and then you just evolved, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just, I don't know. I feel like she's just trying.
Who's she kidding? Her hair was an iconic, like, part of the scene. Like, everybody wanted to be Hayley with that fire hair.
100%. 100%. But
it's like we were saying last week about Green Day, too. Like, Green Day saying they weren't pop punk. Like, they were at one point. They're definitely not now. But, at the time of Dookie, they were. And it's like, they're like, kind of disregarding their roots a little bit.
Yeah, which sucks because a lot of the diehard fans do really like the beginning. Like, yeah, usually it's the people at the beginning who get you going and who get all your other fans involved.
Mm-hmm.
And it's interesting because, like, they had a big evolution, because I would consider their first album, All We Know Is Falling, as a little bit more emo than pop punk, which Riot then was definitely way more pop punk. But I mean, like we always say, genres aren't real, and I'm even if we do define them, emo and pop punk, I think, kind of go hand in hand.
Agreed. But speaking of their roots, and probably one of their most famous songs, even till this day, minus the one random hit from After Laughter, where I'm still salty about it, that when I finally saw them in concert, they played that song last instead of this one. Anywho, but back to the original point of this was, Hayley also talked in this interview about, well, in previous interviews, about her, the roots of their most famous song, in my opinion, Misery Business. She's openly said for years about how she's not a fan of the song anymore, just because she wrote it from, like a 17-year-old's like angsty position, and the whole, like, she's very much more a champion of other women and not calling each other names and all that kind of stuff. So the line of "once a whore, nothing more, I'm sorry, that'll never change," she doesn't agree with anymore. And it's kind of the sign of her being a young kid. But she finally revealed who she wrote the song about. Apparently when she was 13 and Josh Farrow, one of the band members, was 14, he had a girlfriend in high school, and she had a crush on him, and he was like not into it, and so she wrote it about his girlfriend. Which is like, again, she's like, like, I wrote it when I was a kid and I didn't know any better, and like this experience happened when she was 13. Well, that's like, it's not even like she was like 17 or something. Like, she was 13 when the actual experience happened, so of course she's gonna be like, nah, fuck you. But
exactly. No, and you know what's funny though is I didn't know about who it was about. I guess maybe because like I never really looked into it but until this recent article came out, but this recent interview, but apparently people have known this for like years, but I guess it's probably more assumptions than confirmations.
Yeah, so. It was a lot of like side talk, but Haley had never actually confirmed any of it, but she finally came out and was just like, yeah, like it was a thing. We all do stupid shit when we're younger.
Yeah, whatever. You know who's doing stupid shit right now? A Day to Remember, because they delayed their album. Well, I mean, it's delayed for a number of reasons, and it's actually not really coronavirus related, or maybe it is, like, deep down, but they're still waiting on a few things. They had an interview with Enemy. They've almost got all the masters in, so that the music's pretty much done, but the main thing that they said that is holding them back is that they're still trying to get all the artwork done. A lot of the fans are like frustrated about it, but Jeremy McKinnon's like, no, it's important for us to continue like the legacy of our artwork, because like they have like pretty iconic like artwork with all these silhouettes and everything, and for him he said it's important that it's up to standard. If we don't put that time and care into it, is it really a Day to Remember record? And you know what, as frustrating as it is, yeah, I agree with them, because you know what, how does it always happen that we have a theme? Cover art is apparently a theme, right?
Apparently.
Yeah, the artwork is important. And you know what, in the meantime, while we wait for the album, they have released singles that we've been talking about on the show before, and I think it's enough to hold me over until they're ready to release the album, though it is a little bit more in the vein of pop, though Jeremy McKinnon in the same interview said that there's ammo to call it a pop album, but he said there's also some really kick-ass heavy songs on it as well. I am looking forward to hearing those, because yeah, there's been some pop but also like A Day to Remember songs so far that we've heard, but nothing really like and
wait, like what, Michelle? Just wanted to confirm. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay.
Sounds about right.
And he was asked if, like, with this more pop approach, if they were trying to reach more people. And he's like, obviously, I mean, every band's trying to reach more people. And he'd be happy to connect this music with, current fans and the new people, especially because for them, like we said, bands evolve and it feels fresh to him. And, the core of them is still there, but he said they're just expanding into the future. And I get it. Don't have to like it, but I get it.
I'm excited for You're Welcome, the new album. I think out of anything that he could have said about like why it's getting delayed, the album artwork is like, I accept it a little bit, just because like their artwork is usually pretty kick-ass, and I get that. Out of everything, like he could have said this is why it's getting delayed, I kind of thought in my head it was because of coronavirus, and they just like had everything ready and they were just like sitting on it and waiting until whenever. So I almost kind of like that there's actually a reason.
it makes you feel a little bit better about the situation, and it's not just all this bullshit that's going on because we're already pissed off at all the bullshit that's going on.
I was gonna say, I will play devil's advocate just because I've had a couple other albums I was looking forward to being postponed, mainly because of like, oh, it's not sensitive and blah 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 and all this stuff, and it's like, no, I'm bored at home and I'm in the house bored. Give me some fucking things to listen to. Call back to our TikTok. But they could easily release like a digital album and then put out the, you know what I mean? Like, I'm just selfish. It's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. You know who else is fucking selfish? Kevin fucking Lyman.
Setting it up for you. Knock it down. Go get at him, Michelle.
Yeah, I'm gonna knock him the fuck down.
Welcome to the roast of Kevin Lyman.
So, as we all know, that we as in me, are not fans of Kevin Lyman because of all his bureaucratic bullshit surrounding Warped Tour. Obviously with concerts being canceled and festivals being canceled and just all of us going crazy with no concerts, people are like, next summer would be like the best time to have Warped Tour to come back. And someone tweeted about that because, if he doesn't bring it back next summer, there's nothing for us emo kids to live for. That was the tweet that Kevin Lyman responded to with, and I quote, "It might just be called something else." You know what? Fuck you.
I'm not
Fuck
going.
You said...
Well. Not unless he doesn't follow through. If he follows through and there's a Warped Tour and it's called like the Moshpit tour or whatever.
Then if he wants to contact
sure.
us for rights for our name, then yeah.
Sure. Like, if he actually brings it back with a different name, okay.
But then that just proves all the bullshit from him because, first of all, he didn't want to like sell off Van's Warped Tour to somebody else to have them keep it going because he's like, no, nobody else is gonna do it right. Fuck you. You're just taking shit away because you can. You motherfucker, fuckboy, piece of shit.
Also, quick side note, the last few years of Warped Tour, he wasn't even fucking doing it right, to be quite honest. Like, the acts in Warped Tour the past couple years were fucking subpar. Anywho, continue, Michelle.
Well, no, yeah, because I feel like they had to bring on more, like, mainstream artists to bring in the crowds. And no, his problem was that he didn't know what the fuck he was doing and wasn't kind of catering to that young crowd that can always go. Because that's what happens, is the young kids, they go every summer because they can, because they don't have responsibilities and they just go enjoy the summer and go enjoy Warped Tour but then those memories stay with them and then they continue to go on into adulthood. But if you don't get them when they're young, they're not going to go when they're adults, and that's where he's been fucking up. And you know what? And that's been the problem. That's why they had to cancel Warped Tour, because there's been a declining like attendance. And if he's just toying with us at the fact that it's going to come back, then it never should have gone away in the first place.
I would also like to point out arguments is that the reasons why I didn't go to the Warped Tour in like the ending years was because they were always in the middle of the fucking week, which to your point makes sense because they're trying to get the younger crowd. However, the bands they booked did not play to the younger crowd. It played to people our age who then had jobs and careers and shit like that, where I can't take off a random fucking Wednesday to go to a fucking concert. I'm a little salty. Well, the reason why I'm salty as shit is because the last Warped Tour that came to Florida was literally the day I walked into my office and quit my job for a different job, and I could have gone. Oh, no. And the best or worst part about it was like literally 3 blocks away from the office I had just quit. So I could have walked out of the office and gone straight to the fucking concert, but I couldn't find a goddamn ticket at that point. So I was just like, I have a lot of sad feelings when it comes to ending of Warped Tour. So,
Fair.
So much angst.
That's my rant.
This is no longer a family show.
I mean, we swear like sailors all the time, Kels. I don't know what you're talking about.
That was a new level.
I think that was a new level. I think I went a little hard.
Yeah, there was a lot of anger behind it this time versus me being like, I don't
normally
care, what the fuck?
It's very good spirited. We're, just cursing for fun.
There was some venom in Michelle's words.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I told you guys I have some problems with Kevin Lyman.
Okay, we're gonna move on now so that Michelle doesn't continue to break down currently.
I'm gonna take a second to cool down, Kelly.
Yeah, we're gonna let her towel off and, you know, get some, I don't know, something calming.
Give me some happy news, Cal.
Yeah. So Fearless Records recently hosted an interactive live stream called Fearless at Home. It was hosted just a couple days ago, May 9th, and I was able to watch some of it. It was pretty cool. They kind of branded it, I guess, as a live stream festival type thing. So they had a host from Fearless Records that sort of introduced each band and kind of moderated the whole thing. And they were taking donations or encouraging donations for Crew Nation. And they had a pretty sweet lineup of bands that did acoustic performances from their homes. They had As It Is, 9 Inch Kills, Ice. I just messed that up a lot. I just tried to mix Ice Nine Kills with 9 Inch Nails, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, you did.
I did.
Okay.
It's not 9 Inch Nails. That's definitely not. Plain White Tees, Set It Off, The Almost, The Plot and You, Grayscale. Grayscale was one of the acoustic performances that I was able to catch, and they were really awesome. They performed a couple songs off of their latest album, Nella Vita, and those were amazing acoustic. That's an amazing album. So, yeah, overall it was really cool. I think it was like the first of its kind in the scene. As far as like an interactive live stream event. So they were, there was a chat that people could participate in. They were encouraging the donations. They did, aside from the acoustic performances, they also had some live Q&As with the band. So it was pretty cool.
I'm very sad I missed that.
Yeah, me too. But like Kelly said, like it's the kind of the first type of like live stream festival in the scene, and I think we're within the next year, so we're probably gonna be seeing more of that.
Probably. They also use that platform to announce the newest member of the Fearless family. A new band just got signed to Fearless Records. They're called Not a Toy. And they have a new song out on Spotify called J Cash, which it doesn't really like. I listened to the song. I don't understand how it matches the song, but I actually quite enjoyed the song. It's like, it's a little bit like lighter and poppier and a little bit different than some of the other Fearless bands. So, it's pretty cool.
Nice.
I'll have to look that up.
Nice.
Continue. What, Kelly?
I was just gonna say, you haven't heard of them? Sorry. It's just...
Like 98% of the stuff we talk about. Thanks, Kel.
That's why I took it back. I was trying to be nice.
Also, I'm about to talk about a band that neither of you knew before I mentioned it. So, to be fair, they also haven't made new music since 2010. But still. So we're throwing it back to the early 2000s.
Brianne, I want you to like revel in this moment that you knew a band that me and Kelly did not. I just take a second.
It's a big moment for you.
Kelly, listeners, everybody take a second to give Brianne her moment.
We're gonna have a moment of silence. Okay, so there's this band, depending on how old you are and you listen to this, I found them at Warped Tour one year, but Ludo is a band from, I believe they're from Chicago, but they recently announced that they are canceling their House of Blues show. Ludo has literally just been doing 1 or 2 shows every year for the past year, usually around Halloween. This one they were doing an Easter show, which was in April, and they had pushed it back, and then they had to cancel it. So they're letting people get their money back, and hopefully they're going to reschedule and yada yada. Stereotypical, cancellation for this time in the age of Corona. But the reason why we're mentioning it is just because I remember listening to them at Warped Tour, and I made Kelly and Michelle listen to my favorite song from them, because I was just so excited that they had never heard of it. And that's the main reason why we're listening to it. There's a good chance that no one else who is listening to this podcast had ever heard of them. But if you're gonna listen, if you're gonna, take a leap, listen to Love Me Dead. They have a great YouTube video for it, music video. But yeah, what did you guys think of them, considering I basically forced you to listen to them?
Absolutely fucking loved it. It was very much that era type of music, and I think Kelly mentioned it before the show started. It has a very I Write Sins vibes, and totally has like a Panic type of style, like, with the talking type singing. And I really enjoyed it, and I'm a little upset that I never knew this band when they were popular. And just as a quick side note, the fact that their name's Ludo just kind of throws me off a lot, because all I can think of is Ludo Bagman from Harry Potter. That's all I can think of when I hear that.
If you want, here's a little Easter egg, not Easter egg, but another really good song that I like is Lake Pontchartrain. It's very weird, but great at the same time. It's basically talking about how there's like this monster in Lake Pontchartrain, and it's very much like, how country songs like tell a story? It's basically like that, but in like a punk rock version. It's really cool.
Huh. That sounds cool.
Kelly, what'd you think?
I liked it. What Michelle said about I Write Sins, I feel like it just made me reminiscent of early Panic, and that I really enjoyed. But I also liked the song. I felt like it was really fun, and I feel like they should continue to release music sometime in the next decade.
And the music video was super fun too. It was very like, simple but creative and just entertaining. Moving on, another concert as a victim to Corona. Thankfully, it is not canceled, just postponed. Sad Summerfest will not be happening this summer, but summer of 2021. Thankfully, the full lineup that we were expecting at this year's show will be playing next year. That is All Time Low, The Story So Far, Movements, The Main, Yours Truly, Grayscale that we were just talking about before, and Destroy Boys. Now, that is a fantastic lineup in my opinion, and I was super looking forward to it. So I'm sad, but, in the coming weeks, they're going to be announcing the rescheduled tour dates for 2021, so I can't be too sad because it's still going to happen. Even if it's just a year from now or over a year from now, because it's not summer yet. All of your tickets that you've purchased will be honored next year. And because a lot of us bought our tickets already, and to, reward us for our loyalty, ticket holders will be getting a lot of perks and benefits. That's literally what they said. I have no idea what that means, but I'm excited to find out. And there's a frequently asked question up on their site, which I'm sure they're going to be updating with as more info comes about. Like some of the stuff is like, will Sad Summerfest do any live streams or online events? And they have several ideas that they're working on to bring the quote unquote spirit of Sad Summerfest 2020 into the homes of our community. So, we definitely, we're going to keep tuned to that, and we'll let you, our listeners, know, because, we tell you guys the news as soon as it comes out 2 weeks later. But, it's sad that Sad Summerfest is postponed, but not unexpected.
We'll still have a sad summer, just not in a festival form.
Oh.
It's going to be a sad, sad summer, not a sad, happy summer.
Right.
In the vein of, evolving concerts in the time of Corona, of all places, Arkansas has released new plans for returning concerts to normal venues via bubbles.
I'm going to stop you right there, Brianne. Because you know what? Kind of what we've been talking about, and particularly this, especially now as concerts are slowly starting to come back, I'm going to take us into our discussion topic for this episode, which is, what is the new normal for concerts? Okay, Brianne, now you can continue.
So everyone's excited about wondering how concerts are going to come back because everyone's usually in close proximity or sitting next to random ass people you don't know. Well, now, Arkansas Governor Hutchinson outlined a plan for live venues, talking about how it requires strict social distancing among performers, contestants. What? Who the fuck calls concert goers contestants? But okay. And members of the audience. To be fair, I copy and pasted this quote, so he actually said contestants, not me screwing it up. Anywho, so
well,
they were talking about how everything's gonna be super sanitized beforehand. They're gonna have super strict social distancing in line for the events. They will have their temperatures checked before they even enter the venue. They're required to wear masks. All touch points, like doors and all that kind of stuff, will be constantly wiped down. They also talked about how bathrooms will only be limited to a certain amount of people at a time, and they'll have lines for social distancing. But the most interesting part of this whole situation is that they're allowing tickets to be bought in pods. So all of us, before we actually read the article, Michelle has sent it out, and we were all like, is this Bubble Boy? Are we gonna get like a little bubble we have to stand in and during a concert so we can have like mosh pits via bubbles?
That would be so fun.
It'd be like Jeremy McKinnon's like crowd surfing bubble.
Yeah, it gave a pretty intense like visual.
I would love that.
I know. That would actually be like more fun. And it would like no one would get injured because you can just like bounce around and just like you can fall on the floor, whatever. It doesn't matter.
But there might be a lot of anxiety with that, like claustrophobia, because like imagine you're in your bubble and you bounce into someone and then you're just like flailing on the floor with no way to get up.
Oh yeah, it's probably hard to get up. Yeah.
I was like, that's happened to me without a bubble, so I cannot imagine. I mean, at least I wouldn't get my face kicked in versus last time.
I was gonna say, at least you'd have protection.
Yeah.
True. But yeah, so these pods that they talked about, basically they are taking chunks of 2 to 12, I believe, or 2 to 10, like seats in a row, and then not like basically making the seats around that little area unbuyable. So if you're looking at like, you know, when you're buying concert tickets and it's like, oh, see a map at the venue. Basically what they have is they'll have every other row, they'll have, you know, 2 to 10 tickets, and then it'll like put like 5 seats in the same row between the next one. So there's just random ass seats all around. So the amount of people going to these concerts is going to be significantly cut in whatever.
It just seems really silly to me because, I mean, we're trying to socially distance, right? So why would you do chunks instead of doing like every seat and doing like someone 2 seats empty and then someone, and yeah, you're not going to be like near your friends, but it's still going to be like, I think, better than doing like 6 seats in a row and like nothing, and it's just I don't know, it's just and that would actually have more people being able to go to the show, and I think it's just going to cause a lot of problems with like the limited tickets that they're going to be. Like everybody's going to be complaining about it, to be honest.
I was just reading that this concert actually just got a cease and desist order.
Wait,
so it's not happening. Yeah, the Arkansas concert is actually not. They were just served, I think it like earlier today or something. They were served a cease and desist.
Breaking news, fam.
Breaking news.
Ba-da-da-da-dum.
I don't, like, it doesn't really explain why exactly. It just basically says, like, even if you're, like, limiting the capacity and following like, sanitation guidelines, you still have to have a specific plan that would be approved by the Department of Health. And I don't think they got the event approved by the Department of Health or something like that.
Well, I mean, I think the reason why, besides, you know, all the approval stuff, is like, you know, people are still getting sick. I don't think we should be going to concerts, so
yeah,
there's that.
They talked about the reason, I mean, not they talked about, but I think the reasoning why they were doing chunks of 2 to 10 is because of these stupid arbitrary guidelines of like, don't gather in groups more than 10, even though that's still stupid. If you don't live together, don't go see people or stay 6 feet away from them. Like,
yeah, and I mean, I think that's going to be, I mean, you know, regardless of whether this is happening or not, you know, as the months go by, in this next year, we're definitely going to be seeing some changes to the way we experience these concerts. It is the new normal, and social distancing is gonna be a thing, and I know, like, that's going to be a lot easier in, like, seated venues, but, you know, we don't go to those. We go to a lot of general admissions, and it's mostly floor space, and how is that going to work in the pit?
Okay.
How can you socially distance that way? Our concerts are just not going to happen.
I am so heated when it comes to this whole entire area of concerts, when it comes to the pit. Now, don't get me wrong. I have a very love-hate relationship with the pit. I like being down in the pit, but I don't like being in the middle of it. I like standing at the very back because I can get the experience while also not dying. Because I am not a physical person where I can't stand up straight, apparently, during mosh pits, which Michelle has seen firsthand many times. Actually, Kelly has too. But there's no way you can have any form of a pit and socially distance. I don't give a shit what happens. If you are telling people, like, oh, there's only going to be 20 people in this pit, all 20 are going to be sandwiched up right against that front board and fighting their way to the front. That is literally the point of being in the pit. If you're in the pit and you're not doing that, you're a wimp like me. I own it. It's fine.
No, Brianne, you're not a wimp. You're just a scene grandma.
That too.
I've also to reiterate that fact. You are the scene grandma.
I've also been.
You are going to become an icon.
I also think I have the trauma of being kicked in the face multiple times during a pit, so I just can't bring myself
That'll change you. Yeah.
Well, see, I've gotten punched in the face, and I'm like, yeah, let's go in the pit!
It's different. It's like, I've caught an elbow before that, and I was fine. It was literally just the fact that I was on the ground screaming for help, and someone kicked me in the face multiple times, and then you finally pulled me up.
Yeah.
I also almost
fought someone that day.
Well, the other reason is I remember I, like, had finally gotten over that, like, post-college. I went to, like, one of the final Warped Tours I actually think I ever went to. I was in the all-time low pit, and some crowd surfer grabbed my hand and twisted it, and I almost broke my wrist because of it. Like, I wasn't even in a pit. I was literally helping some stupid 12-year-old girl not fall, and I almost broke my wrist. Like, they're like, it probably could have fractured. I'm like, sweet. Anywho, but the whole point is that the whole point of being in a pit is you're supposed to be sweaty, up against each other, like awkwardly touching people that you're really not supposed to be touching in a normal situation. Never mind in this corona, you're gonna die if you catch something from these people situation. And I'm very heated, and I just think that this whole idea of having any form of pit is fucking stupid.
Well, so they might, I mean, we don't know what's going to happen. There might not even be a pit, but if there is a socially distanced pit, I don't even know what's going to happen. Because like you said, it's very likely people won't comply. What's going to happen? Are you just going to kick everybody out? So, I mean, it's a thing. And then, I mean, you know, obviously besides social distancing, the recommendations currently are wearing gloves and masks. Is that going to be a new fashion statement now, maybe? Because I know we've talked about getting masks for ourselves, Moshpit branded.
You specifically talked about the studded one, so you could, like, rip people up while you go.
Exactly. I mean, are they going to be the new studded belts or the rubber bracelets of the 2020s? Is it going to be a trend? Like,
I feel like we're already getting there. Like, people are getting, like, fashionable masks to wear in public, and, like, now it's half about safety, half about, like, making a fashion statement. So I can see that happening for sure.
Oh yeah, like, I got in the mail, I'm a season ticket holder for my local NFL team, and they literally, for being a season ticket holder, they sent me 2 masks with the emblem on the front of them. So, like, now instead of just having, like, some stupid yeah, like, it's people are trying to look like, everyone looks stupid in masks, but they're trying to look, like, less stupid, I guess. I don't know.
I mean, personally, I think I look fantastic in a mask, but that's just because I'm perfect and I look good in everything.
Oh my god.
I hate you.
I can't even keep serious on that.
I hate you.
I'm just shaking my head. I forgot this was a podcast.
Anyways, moving on. Speaking of other changes within the concert realm, apparently Live Nation is starting to plan for drive-in concerts, which, I mean, to be honest, I think that'd be pretty cool. I'm down for
I think that's an awesome
movie.
idea.
Right? Yeah. Like, I'm here for a drive-in movie. I'll stand out the sunroof of my car with a mask on and rocking out to a band. I'm cool with it.
I feel like it's going to be a giant tailgate.
Exactly.
Like, everyone's just going to be in their trunks 6 feet apart, 6 feet apart, and, like, dancing in their trunk.
We're all going to get shitty, though.
I'm going to grab my dad's Sprinter van. I'm going to back into my spot so I can throw open the back doors wide and just mosh in the back of it. And it'll be fantastic.
When the van is a rockin', don't come a moshin'?
Oh. Or do come a moshin'.
Ooh.
No, we're socially distancing. Don't come moshin' in my van.
If this is gonna be a thing, we need to make t-shirts.
Yes. 100%. Yeah, and I mean, besides, like, all of these other changes, it's just, like, even the minuscule things are going to be affected, like, getting food and booze, like, you know, like, getting beer from the tap in like, an open container, that's nuts.
Yeah.
It wasn't sanitary to begin with.
And then
like,
how are
now,
you going to
even
drink
less.
it with your mask on?
Exactly.
Also, well, here's my logic is that if you're at a normal concert like we were talking about, that I agree with how you're going to drink it. But if you're in your car at a drive-in thing, fuck that. I am not paying to get food and booze from them. I am hiding shit under my seats.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Exactly.
Like, no, I'm not playing this game.
Yeah, and if it is a drive-in concert and you're drinking, make sure you have a designated driver, because we don't support drinking a drive-in.
Safety first, kids.
And so speaking of some online activity that's like, we all know, like, live streams and online concerts and stuff like that, that's probably gonna continue to be like the new normal for concerts for at least like a little while. And that's just like the modern day concert for the next couple months is probably going to be online streams. And another one that you guys can get excited about is All Time Low are doing an online concert on May 22nd.
It's my birthday!
Yeah. Someone's birthday.
Guys, we haven't talked about All Time Low in like a while. So it was
I know, it's been so long since we've talked about All Time Low. And just as a personalized birthday present to Brianne, they are hosting an online concert on May 22nd. Tickets are going to be $10, and those profits are going to go to their tour crew and their staff. And also a sidebar about All Time Low, because I was watching Alex Gaskarth's Instagram stories today, and Elton John was talking about Wake Up Sunshine on his Rocket Hour.
So is this a radio show or is it like a podcast?
I think it's a radio show. It's on iTunes Music too.
That's
I believe.
Insane.
Yeah, it's wild. Elton John said the words Alex Gaskarth and Wake Up Sunshine, and I think he like played a clip of Wake Up Sunshine.
What?
I know, it's
we
wild.
already said that Wake Up Sunshine had the potential to blow All Time Low to a real mainstream audience. And the fact that Elton John talked about them, oh my goodness. We better get prepared, ladies, because they're going to be going to arenas and we're going to end up having to pay like $200 to go see them, and I'm going to be upset about it, but also happy for them.
Same. Sorry for taking us off track, but that was extremely important.
But yeah, back to the concert discussion, the new normal for concerts, we've got a lot of maybes and what ifs in the future, and we're all just going to have to adapt and have to see how it goes. But basically, what it comes down to is concert etiquette, and just do things when you're at a concert to not get anybody else sick, because if you get someone else sick, you're the asshole.
Yup. You said it well.
So, now that we're done with that, we're going to move into our band spotlight. And to get you out of that 90s mode we were in our last episode, we're sticking with a 90s band for our band spotlight. And if you are new to the Moshpit and joining us on episode 7, instead of starting at episode 1, you're wrong. We'll wait for you to catch up. Okay, now that you're back, Our band spotlight is drumroll, Simple Plan.
Woo!
Criminally underrated band these days. And is Simple Plan for a reason, obviously besides, that 90s connection, because they were formed in 1999 in Montreal. But, Brianne, we mentioned Brianne's birthday present is going, quote unquote, going to the All Time Low concert on her birthday.
I'm so excited. You don't even understand.
Well, my birthday was a few days ago, and my boyfriend, my loving boyfriend, my fantastic, perfect boyfriend, got me a great birthday present, and it was a little shout-out video from Pierre of Simple Plan, which we will now play for you.
What's up, Michelle? How you doing? Guess who it is right here? Look at this face. Who's this guy? Who's this guy? I'm like, I look kind of the same as I did when I was younger, but now I got a beard. It's my quarantine beard. It's got a bunch of gray hairs in it because I'm getting old. But hey, it's Pierre Bouvier, lead singer of the band Simple Plan, right here just for you. I hope this message finds you well. Today is your birthday, May 10th. Did you know my birthday was yesterday? We're like almost birthday twins. We should see how many hours apart we are. Except you just turned 29 today, and I just turned 41 yesterday. That's depressing, but so uplifting for you. You've got so much left ahead of you. And by the way, this is from your boyfriend, Nick. What a sweet guy. He says, my girlfriend, Michelle, turns 29 on May 10th. She's a huge fan and hosts a pop-punk podcast called The Moshpit. How dope is that? Pop-punk is the greatest music ever invented. And you just can't hate it, right? It's like melodic, fun, high energy, great songs, great lyrics, catchiness. It's my favorite. And thank you for keeping the movement alive. We have to keep it alive. It's so good. But anyways, have a fantastic birthday today. I hope you have a great one. I know it's a tough time to have a birthday, quarantining and all that. I had my birthday yesterday, and I had a total of my wife, my 2 kids, and my mother and father-in-law. So that was it. It was fun, though. So have a great birthday. Hope you're surrounded with love. Hope you have lots of nice messages through your Facebook, Instagram, or text messages that tell you how important and amazing you are. Keep it up with the podcast, and here's a little thing just from me. One of your favorite songs, apparently. I Do Anything, exclusive, acoustic snippet version for Michelle on her 29th birthday. Another day is going by, thinking about you all the time. You're right there, and I'm here waiting. And I wrote this letter in my head, so many things were left unsaid. But now you're gone, and I can't think straight. This could be the one last chance to make you understand, yeah. I'd do anything just to hold you in my arms, try to make you laugh, but somehow I can't put you in the past. I'd do anything just to fall asleep with you. Would you remember me? 'Cause I know I won't forget you. Michelle, happy birthday today. Enjoy it. You've got so much left ahead of you. I'm so jealous. Enjoy, and we'll see you next time. And keep it up with the mosh pit. That's rad. Happy birthday.
Oh, it's just so cool. It's just so cool.
Right? I mean, first of all, it's fantastic that it was like a birthday, shout out to me and everything, but he mentioned the mosh pit. So, shout out to Nick for telling him about that too, and he included it in his little shout out, and then played me I'd Do Anything, which was great, and I'm gonna cry.
Can you imagine if he listens to this episode?
He better. Because if he knows we have a podcast and he sends me that, he has to assume that we're going to talk about him.
I mean, he seems super into it. He says someone's got to keep the scene alive. We're trying to do it.
Exactly.
We're out here.
Pop punk advocates here. But, and I mean, honestly, he didn't have to go that hard for me, but he did. And I think that is an indication of how awesome Simple Plan is. And I said that they're criminally underrated because, you know, I think they've because, you know, they're kind of still have the same sound. I feel like a lot of people like dismiss them and only listen to like their original stuff, what, like, you know, the top songs, like I do anything, Addicted, and I'm just a kid, Perfect, you know, all those other songs, and they don't really give them credit for being an influence in the scene because they always have been, and you know, they're still going strong.
I think my favorite part about Simple Plan is the fact that they openly said that they made the song Addicted because they wanted to get a dick in, like, on the radio. Because it's like, I'm a dick, I'm addicted to you. But because it was, like, a shortened version of Addicted, they were, like, allowed to have the word dick in their song. And they were like, yeah, we just wanted to figure out how to get dick on the radio.
What's more pop punk than that?
The innovation is just unmatched.
Oh, God.
Like, yeah, no, I mean, they're fantastic. They've got 5 studio albums, and, you know, last episode we were talking about how pop punk in the 90s was really incorporated into movies, with Blink being in Can't Hardly Wait, and American Pie and all of that. Simple Plan was actually in New York Minute, the Mary-Kate and Ashley
Such a good movie. One of my faves. Mostly because Simple Plan's in it.
Wasn't a fan of that one. I liked the not Billboard Dad. What was the other one they were in? Oh, the Passport to Paris. That was my favorite Ashley Mary-Kate movie.
No, you like Passport to Paris better than New York Minute?
I wasn't a fan of that one.
New York Minute, they were too old and they didn't give a shit anymore.
Jared Padalecki was in New York Minute, so shut your mouth.
And Simple Plan.
To be completely
Vacation
honest,
is like such a fun song.
That's fair.
Yes.
To be honest, though, I think my favorite Ashley Mary-Kate stuff was, like, the really old school mystery ones. Like, fuck all the new ones where they're movies.
100%.
The mystery ones were infinitely better. Anyways, we're getting really off track.
But going back to the point, Simple Plan's awesome. I mean, like I said, they're still relevant. They, I think it was earlier this year or end of last year, they came out with a song with State Champs, which featured We the Kings, Where I Belong. It's a fantastic song.
December 2019.
There you go. And yeah, I'm a big fan of it, especially because I you know, Simple Plan, they're kind of, you know, originals in the scene that are still going, and for them to kind of bring in, like, you know, that early 2000s band of the scene, We the Kings, and then also bring in like a newer band, State Champs, it just covers the whole pop punk history there, and it's I think it's a great combination of all these bands' talents.
That's our entire, like, lives in one song. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we listened to Simple Plan when we were younger, then we were in, like, high school and college, it was We the Kings, and then now it's this. It's just like, oh, that covers every phase of my life. Cool. I will say, though, I was always a huge We the Kings fan, and I know that they're just featured in the song, so I'm not too mad about how Travis only has, like, the bridge and then the, like, last chorus. But I will say the best part about Travis's voice are the runs and, like, the longer,
like, more sensual parts of his voice, and he did not get to showcase any of that, so I think they missed the mark a teeny bit, but otherwise, great song.
Yeah, I think it's an awesome song, and I like how you said that about it kind of covers bands from our whole life, and I've always, like, Simple Plan has always, I think, had a special place in my heart because they were like my middle school band. Like, all of their songs just, like, made you feel like someone was in your boat, you know what I mean? Like, every day is the worst day ever. Like, I felt like that every single day in middle school, like, every single day. And then you just listen to this song and you're like, oh, well, like, you know, other people other people feel that too. And it just, like, their songs just, like, get you through your angsty middle school years. So they've always kind of, like, had a place in my heart because of that.
Yeah, their lyrics are like that meme where it's like the kid just laying in a puddle in the rain.
Yes.
And that's Simple Plan's lyrics.
Like, perfect and, like,
yes.
Welcome to my life.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good one. I forgot about Welcome to My Life.
Oh yeah, that is a good one. That one I like used to belt out. Like I did not have a
All of them.
yeah, I did not have a hard life. I lived a very good life, and but you know,
Still.
yeah, welcome to my life. It's shitty and whatever. It's like I had no problems at that age. And Simple Plan's awesome. And not only musically, but they're good people. They started the Simple Plan Foundation in 2005, aimed to help young people in need and supporting victims of life-threatening illnesses. And last year alone, they donated a total of $140,000, and that money helps so many people. And I think that's, you know, I mean, we've talked about it before, like, you know, obviously we like our bands because of how we can relate to them and their music, but it just adds something when they're good people too. And, you know, to know this about Simple Plan just makes me love them more.
I agree. Also, quick throwback to the movie conversation. I was sitting here and I'm like, there's definitely, I'm Just a Kid is definitely in a movie. And it's actually in 3. I don't know the first one, Grind.
Shepherd by the Dozen, right? One of them?
Yes! Yes!
Oh, yeah.
It's also in The New Guy.
Oh, I love that movie!
It was Shepherd by the Dozen that I was thinking of, and I'm just like, what? Because it's like kids going into high school, and it's like the music that's like transitional. I'm like, what the freaking hell is that movie? And then I searched it, and it came up with Shepherd by the Dozen with Ashton Kutcher like leading all of the little ones into school and shit.
That's
no,
awesome.
And I mean, they've got like you said that song's like they've got really popular songs, like some of their top songs I mentioned before. You know, I'd Do Anything, Addicted. But I'm Just a Kid, I think, is probably one of their top songs. So much so that on TikTok now they have a I'm Just a Kid challenge, and it's basically people, you know, kind of recreating their childhood photos. And as I mentioned earlier in the show, we are on the TikTok now, at the Moshpit Pod. So maybe if you go follow us, you might see a hashtag I'm Just a Kid from one, two, or all of us. Who knows? Perhaps. Maybe. All right. So point of story from our band spotlight is don't sleep on Simple Plan just because they started in 1999. Because they need some loving, because Pierre's awesome for giving me my birthday video, and just the band itself is fantastic. And that's all we got for you this time around on the Moshpit.
What was that?
I don't know. You know, I like to do voices. And
Are you okay?
Did your voice just come in? Like,
Are you all right?
Guys, I have been home for 2.5 months. Can you just leave me alone? Let me have my moments.
No. If anyone's going to let you have your moment, you know it's not going to be us.
Well, on that note, I'll just do a normal outro, I guess. Give us a follow on Facebook and Instagram at the Moshpit Pod, and on Twitter at Moshpit Pod. And then, you know, share with your friends and give us a review on Apple Podcasts. Was that monotone and boring enough for you guys?
Yes.
All right.
Yeah,
Well,
that's perfect.
great. Until next time, hashtag Mosh on, motherfuckers!